Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Well, police have issued a shelter-in-place order for the town of Paso Robles, California, following an overnight shooting. No shots were fired just before 4 a.m., and the police department wounding a deputy on duty. Now, that officer is in serious but stable condition as a search for the shooter continues. Officials consider the suspect armed and dangerous. The downtown area is blocked. Law enforcement is using armored vehicles and a helicopter to check the area. Meantime, a body was also discovered that police believe to be related to the shooting. The body was found at about 7 a.m. along the town's railroad tracks. Sheriff's officials say the victim, a man in his late 40s, was shot in the head at close proximity. Now, police say there have been no reports of shots fired since 4 a.m. Protesters were out again last night in Bakersfield. Dozens of people stood on the corner of Chester Avenue and Brundage Lane in central Bakersfield. The group was there promoting the message that Black Lives Matter. They held signs calling for justice for George Floyd and for Robert Forbes, the protester who was hit by a car a week ago today on California Avenue and later died. Well, BPD says the officer being investigated for an old picture of him wearing blackface came forward on his own. The photo was included in the officer's high school yearbook and was part of a Halloween costume. BPD says it happened before the officer joined the department before 2010. Now an investigation is looking into the post.
Based on the fact that he did come forward and say this, I don't think that he perceived that picture that was, again, approved by the yearbook staff and posted in the school's yearbook. I don't think he perceived it as being something that he was attempting to be offensive or inflammatory in any way, but I think in maturity as an adult, he can see how it could be received that way for sure.
The chief of police immediately placed the officer on paid administration leave and directed Internal Affairs to investigate the matter. Well, we have an update on a local church that was vandalized last week from St. John's the Evangelical Church in Wasco. Now, someone defaced the statue of Christ that has been at the church for the last 50 years. According to Father Raul Sanchez, the Diocese of Fresno will help him replace the statue. He says people have been sending donations through the mail, and he believes he will receive enough to cover the deductible. However, he's concerned that someone could vandalize that statue again. Public Health confirms 72 new cases along with 4 deaths. Now, that brings our total to 2,952 confirmed tests. 51 people have died. Over 1,900 have recovered from the virus. 485 remain isolated at home, and 63 people who have contracted the virus are hospitalized. More than 31,000 tests have come back negative, and less than 800 tests are still pending. Well, a new rule in Arvin will make businesses ask customers to cover their faces if they plan to do any shopping. Now, last night, the city council voted 4-1 to require all businesses to post signage asking customers to wear masks. To be clear, it's up to the business to enforce it, but the city says they have to put up the signs. Last month, Arvin city leaders made masks mandatory for employees in the workplace. Well, Adventist Health is making sure no one goes hungry. Today, the hospital gave away soup packets for anyone in need. Adventist teamed up with the City Serve to distribute those packets. Now, according to Adventist Health, they understand so many are struggling right now.
We know that we have food insecurity across our entire county, and until everyone in our county, from Oildale to Tehachapi to Ridgecrest to all these different areas, have access to food and are healthy and well, our work isn't done.
The packets have lentils, veggies, and pasta, and Adventist says families can easily add their own ingredients to fit their taste. Now, with the help of restaurants, they have recipe cards to go with those packets. Adventist says they wanted to make sure it was something every family could enjoy. Also today, the mission at Kern County gave away more food for local families. Now, it happened this morning at 8:30 at the mission, and they were offering protein boxes full of meats and cheeses. Now, the nonprofit says each box has enough to last a week for a family of 6. They received the food from the USDA's Farm to Families program. Now, anyone who wanted that box had to go to the mission's campus on East 21st Street, which was this morning. Well, you can help give the gift of life. Tomorrow, the Delano Police Department, along with the Houchin Blood Bank, will hold a blood drive. And during the pandemic, blood supplies dropped to critical levels. That's why they need you. The drive runs from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at 2330 High Street. Houchin will have an extra bus there to help practice social distancing. Now, you are asked to wear a mask and wait in your car until they're ready for you. Well, we now know the name of a man who died in a crash in Tehachapi. Now, according to CHP, 39-year-old Skonjing Kevin Verijan died yesterday morning. Now, the crash happened on Route 202 near Reeve Street. CHP says 2 vehicles were involved and one of them overturned, completely blocking the road. The 39-year-old died at the scene. An investigation is still ongoing. And a local barbershop needs your help in finding stolen bikes. According to Blackboard Barbershop, they were broken into Monday night and had 3 lowrider bicycles stolen. They are offering a $1,000 reward for the return of those bikes. Anyone with information is asked to contact the barbershop at 432-7772. Well, the brother of George Floyd is pleading for members of Congress to stop the pain. Phineas Floyd testified today at a congressional hearing on a proposed change to police practices and accountability. George Floyd's death while in police custody in Minneapolis has sparked worldwide protests calling for change and an end to racial prejudice. Well, in Phineas's prepared remarks, he says he hopes his brother's death will change the world for the better.
6 years ago, I'm here to ask you to make it stop. Stop the pain. Stop us from being tired. George called for help and he was ignored. Please listen to the call I'm making to you now, to the calls of our family and the calls ringing out the streets across the world. People of all backgrounds, genders, and races have come together to demand change. Honor them, honor George, and make the necessary changes that make law enforcement the solution and not the problem.
House Democrats have proposed a bill called the Justice in Policing Act that would ban chokeholds, including the kind used in the death of George Floyd. It would also ban no-knock warrants in drug cases, which was used in the incident leading to the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville in March. Well, tomorrow, local activists are planning a Bakersfield Unity rally focused on racial equality and denouncing police brutality. Now, the rally will be held at 6 p.m. Thursday at St. Peter Restoration Community Christian Ministries. Now, that's east on Brundage Lane Union. A group of community leaders will discuss working towards the next steps in achieving racial equality, as well as speaking out against police brutality. Now, if you want to attend, you're asked to wear a face covering, and seating will be spaced 6 feet apart. No signs or posters will be allowed inside of that building. Well, each June, Pride marches typically take place around the country. But this year, the LGBTQ community is redirecting its focus to the Black Lives Matter protests. Both communities have unique struggles, but they have a shared understanding of inequality. Jordan Espertu knows how it feels to be both a queer man and person of color in Bakersfield.
First Pride was a riot. It was the manifestation of saying enough is enough. We've been under scrutiny, under oppression for so long. Enough is enough. And that is the same vein, that is the same energy that is happening here. It would be wrong of me as a queer individual to not stand in solidarity with other disenfranchised groups.
Most LGBTQ pride marches around the country have been postponed or merged with the protests. For resources for here at home, there are organizations like Bakersfield LGBTQ, PFLAG, and the Center for Sexuality and Gender Diversity.
And taking a look at our weather right now, we've got clear skies out there and starting to warm up from our Adventist Health Cam looking into downtown. Take you out near Arvin right now, and we're at 87 degrees under the clear skies. Wasco looking good, 89. And as we take a look at Bakersfield, still holding on to 89 degrees under a calm wind and a very low humidity, 15%. So a very dry air mass out there. Here's a look at other temperatures, and we've got 80s in the most part for all valley locations. And then up in the mountains, 81 in Tehachapi, 78 for Lake Isabel, already 92 out of Ridgecrest. Clear skies around the state, even the coastal areas, very nice this afternoon, but also warmer. 87 in Sacramento, 99 in Fresno. Down to the south, even LA will be warm this afternoon at 94. To the east of us, 91 in Vegas, and Phoenix at 103. The beaches also very nice this afternoon and also warm and in the 80s. Out near Pismo, 81, and a west-northwest wind right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. We've got that offshore flow in place, but if you're not a fan of the heat, guess what? Good news for you heading into the weekend as another trough is developing out here, and that will help us out Saturday, Sunday, but then by early next week, another ridge builds back in and we see another warm-up. Nothing really to show you on Futurecast HD, maybe a few high clouds by Friday, but that will be about it. And there's definitely no sign of rain in our forecast. Here's a look at the national picture and the temperatures today. 66 in Seattle, 78 in Salt Lake. Denver, not a bad day there at 70, 73 in Chicago. And we've got the heat into New York and D.C. with lower 90s this afternoon. Here's a look at our air quality. We'll be moderate with an AQI at 90, and today we'll top out near 100. 99 in Delano, 97 in Taft, light northwest wind at 5. For the mountains and the Kern River Valley, a northwest wind right around 10 to 15. 83 in Frazier Park, Tehachapi at 86. 90s for the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabel at 93. 95 in Weldon. And then for the desert, sunny and an east wind at 5. 94 in Mojave, and Ridgecrest near 100 at 99. So your extended forecast tomorrow, we're going to be near 100, then cooler on Friday with 90. The weekend is looking great. Saturday will bottom out at 83 and then right back up. Monday, Tuesday will be in the 90s for the mountains. Plenty of sunshine across the board, but cooler heading into Friday with the upper 70s, 60s Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday of next week, you'll be looking at the 80s again. For the Kern River Valley, keeping it a little hot through tomorrow, mid-80s on Friday, 70s on Saturday, and then we're back into the lower 90s by Monday and Tuesday. So definitely that swing in the temperatures. That's a look at your forecast. We'll send it back over to you, Nicole.
Well, Bakersfield College is getting in on the Juneteenth conversation. The first conversation kicks off today with the Bakersfield Police Department. The conversation will start at 8 p.m. on Facebook. Now, for the next 2 weeks, conversations and celebrations are scheduled to bring light to racism and white supremacy in our community, state, and nation. For more information, you can head over to their website. Adidas is launching a new initiative to boost the representation of people of color within its North American workforce. The company is aiming to fill a minimum of 30% of new U.S. positions with Black or Latino applicants. Adidas announced the plan Tuesday, along with other initiatives in response to recent calls for racial justice and equality. Hundreds of Adidas employees have worked out of work in recent days to protest outside the company's North American headquarters in Portland, Oregon. Now, according to a report from the Portland Business Journal, they wanted Adidas to support Black employees. Now, the sportswear company also plans to donate $20 million over the next 4 years and 3 initiatives aimed at affecting greater racial equality. Well, Starbucks says it's lost more than $3 billion in revenue the last quarter, and shifting customers' habits are leading the coffee giant to make store changes. Many of the changes were in the works before the pandemic, but it sped up the timeline. Over the next 18 months, Starbucks will increase convenience-led enhancements at company stores with drive-through and curbside pickup options. It will also focus on mobile order pickup locations. Starbucks will renovate select store layouts, including adding a separate counter for mobile orders at high-volume stores. Now, Best Buy says it will allow a limited number of customers inside most of its stores without the need for an appointment starting next Monday. The retailer is also bringing back 9,000 furloughed part or full-time employees to help with support and other initiatives such as curbside pickup. Best Buy will restrict the number of customers in store to 25% capacity. That equals about 60 people depending on the store size. Now, customers will also have to sign customers in, and employees will have to maintain 6 feet distance at all times.